The Holt government is taking a pass on participating in what may be the biggest legal case on charter rights in Canada in years.
I felt that, we did not have a particular distinct legal contribution to make on that particular item, and that we decided it wasn't necessary to continue our participation.
Sometime next year, Quebec, the federal government, several provinces, and many interveners will make arguments before the Supreme Court on the Constitution's notwithstanding clause. It lets federal or provincial governments exempt legislation from key sections of the Charter of Rights, sections on freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and basic equality. New Brunswick planned to intervene in the case, but McKee opted to pull out, even though in 2019, he criticized PC Education Minister Dominic Carty for trying to use the notwithstanding clause in a bill on mandatory vaccinations.
It's a slippery slope that we're going down here when we're talking about charter rights for citizens. It's a dangerous precedent that we're setting. It's never been used in New Brunswick before.
At issue in the current case is a Quebec law that bans the wearing of religious symbols by some public officials. The Quebec law uses the notwithstanding clause to block any constitutional challenge to that law. Ottawa, some provinces, and some interveners want the Supreme Court to put limits on how governments can use the clause to suspend charter rights. By withdrawing from the case, New Brunswick is not taking any position.
Personally, for me, it's a little bit of a disappointment just because we have the Holt government that, has prided itself on being very women-friendly.
Carrie Frock is working for one intervener in the case that argues charter provisions on gender equality can limit the reach of the notwithstanding clause, and she'd like the province to take a position on that.
It's a shame in a way, but it's maybe, something that they, like I say, they looked at the political calculus and decided that it was not in their interest to intervene. But it's a bit unusual, I have to say.
Premier Susan Holt also came out against using the notwithstanding clause in 2023, when then Premier Blaine Higgs considered using it to block a legal challenge to his changes to Policy 713 on pronouns and gender identity in schools.
The minister please reassure New Brunswickers that he will not use the notwithstanding clause.
Mr. Speaker, as in many cases, we don't deal with hypothetical situations in this House.
It's becoming more and more part of the political conversation, including in New Brunswick.
We're continuously we're evaluating case by case whether our participation is necessary, whether we have...
The Attorney General didn't address why a clause so unacceptable to Liberals just 2 years ago is now something they won't take a legal position on.
Certainly our government, my hope is that we would never be put in a position where we would have to use the notwithstanding clause. We prefer protecting people's rights and not suspending their rights.
There's no date yet for when the Supreme Court will hear arguments. It's expected to be a pivotal case on the most fundamental rights of Canadians, and New Brunswick won't be there.